I mean, now that the dust is settling, I think one of the most important things to know about the whole COVID-19 flu shot rollout it's actually so March 2020. But the most important thing after 2020 is that we weren't aware that in 2015, under the Obama administration, the FDA changed the very definition, a sacrosanct word, the very definition of vaccination that Americans have always understood to mean prevents. It prevents you from getting it. Like a smallpox shot or a polio shot I take at 11. I'm 63 now, 52 years it's worked. It's not a yearly thing. So I do think that that's important, that we realize that after they changed the definition, 5 years ago, 8 years ago, for whatever reason they claimed at the time, that they diminuized and watered down the street cred of what a vaccine means to the American people. Again, we understand vaccination to mean prevents. But quietly, unbeknownst to us, the definition was changed. And when the quote-unquote pandemic hit, and then the quote-unquote COVID shot was found or developed, they continued to sell it to us as an old school vaccination, while by early May it was quite obvious the shot did not prevent the spread, because they strangely remasked people while telling and selling continuously that the shot prevented you from getting it and prevented you from giving it to, being a vector of transmission, as they labeled all of our children. So that's why we're confused, it seems to me, because the older generation, we know what it means, and we took the shot. Many people took the shot under the pretense that it was a vaccination, not a flu shot. And if it had been sold to us as a flu shot, there would have been lower uptake of the regimen that they were selling. But then the main thing is they were selling it for so long, from March to July 2021. And then when it stopped working and everyone knew it wasn't working, they mandated it and blamed the people who hadn't taken the shots for the people who had taken the shots who were still getting COVID. And it was a bizarre pirouette in July 2021 after President Biden and Harris say, we were doing great, have a free July 4th. The next day they were out en masse blaming the unvaccinated for the spread of a disease that the COVID shot was supposed to prevent. And it became this scapegoat mantra. I guess I dealt with it. I don't know how well, but I don't know how the younger generation could have dealt with, being told that they were vectors of transmission and, they could protect their grandmother, when they knew at the time the shot, if they took the shot, they could still be give someone COVID. So what was going on during that time when we went from 2 shots, that was the vaccination, to now they're trying to approve a 7th shot, while calling these things, these shots, vaccinations, which again, Americans don't understand a shot that you take more than 1 or 2 of as a vaccination. It's like a flu shot. You can still get it and it might be efficacious, but there's no proof. So what was going on when we were being yelled at? that we were continuing something we didn't start. In that their medicine that didn't work was our fault. And it was 24/7 on all the mainstream media outlets. Fortunately, I didn't have a TV and I lived in an old home. I was spared the 1984 television sets everywhere yelling at us or concerned about our, fearful for our safety. No, the thing to remember is for some reason they changed the definition in 2015 from vaccinations, which means prevents, which we all understood it to mean. It has street cred, the polio shot has street cred. But after they dumbed it down and it no longer means prevents, and then they use it in a marketing campaign to sell us a medicine that doesn't do what we used to understand a vaccination means. The one final thing I'll say here is that the changing of the words and the definitions of the words is very concerning to me, especially at the healthcare level, because I've noticed that NPR, and many other outlets are calling, the annual respiratory flu shots now, that people used to take, they call these flu shots vaccinations. So the point is that they're remessaging the next generation, 18 and above, to understand vaccination to not means prevents. And we're also telling the younger generation after they get to 18 and they're emancipated that they don't have the right to their bodies, that they don't have the right to informed consent, and they don't have the right to refuse. So to just say that, trying to come out of the confusion that was pawned off on us by large marketing corporations in medicine and politics. I guess I'll just say in the end, it's just like, hold on to the 10 amendments. Hold on to the Bill of Rights. Hold on to the first 10. Keep them in your back pocket. There's people who don't believe in the first 10 amendments, while people have been fighting to get those 10 amendments in their own governments for hundreds of years. So, women wanted to vote because they wanted the Bill of Rights on their side. African Americans and minorities wanted to vote. They wanted the 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights on their side. And now we're saying the whole thing was a bunch of junk and that it was all completely racist and that people wouldn't want those rights for themselves when they've been expanded and extended. So, no, public health in the United States, really a huge overstep. And grossly, the last country in the world still mandating shots on many people and trying to implement these novel COVID shots on children 0 to 17 who have virtually no danger. What about the ecology of their bodies? People under 35 who are not in danger. I don't expect them to be protecting me. That's an inversion.